I didn't think my son. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen too many times.
At the end of the day, I believe that he was executed by the MPD, and I want the police officer that murdered my son to be prosecuted and fired.
It took about 10 seconds for the Minneapolis SWAT team to barge into 22-year-old Amir Locke's home and shoot. Using a no-knock warrant, officers kicked in Locke's apartment door at 6:45 a.m. last Wednesday. The body camera footage shows that the SWAT team announced their presence as they entered the home, not beforehand, as the police department statement claimed. Locke, who had been asleep on the sofa, appeared to be startled by police and began to raise himself up. He appeared to be holding a gun, which his family said he was entitled to as a legal gun owner. It's unclear whether the gun was pointed at the SWAT team. But within seconds, officers shot 3 shots at Locke. He died in the county hospital shortly thereafter. Officers said they obtained the warrant for a homicide investigation out of St. Paul, Minnesota, but the interim police chief said on Thursday that Locke, who had no criminal record, was not even named in the warrant, and it was unclear if or how he was connected to the investigation. The use of no-knock warrants is the same practice officers in Kentucky used to burst into Breonna Taylor's home in March of 2020. Police blindly shot 32 times into the darkness, striking Taylor 6 times while she was in bed. Raids with unannounced entries were supposed to be banned in Minneapolis by the mayor in 2020, but the policy still allows no-knock warrants in urgent, exigent cases. The mayor announced Friday that the city would suspend the policy in wake of Locke's death. In the meantime, the mayor will also meet with experts who crafted a ban on the practice in in Louisville, named Breonna's Law. Following a flood of protests in Minneapolis this weekend, the City Council convened today to review the policy. Joining me now to discuss is Nekima Levy Armstrong, civil rights attorney and former president of Minneapolis NAACP, and Andrea Jenkins, Minneapolis City Council president. Andrea, I want to start with you. What was the result of the City Council meeting today?
So, thank you for having me on tonight, Charles. And I do want to just offer my deep condolences to the family and friends of Amir. What a tragic loss, so tragic. The result of today's hearing was essentially a sort of a laying out of some of the best practices, a review of what the dangers of no-knock warrants can have, both for innocent victims and families, as well as police officers. And so today was really just an information gathering so that we can begin the process of learning from these mistakes and hopefully creating policies and changes that eliminates these types of tragedies in our communities.
Nekima, you stopped the news conference last week held by the mayor and the interim police chief. You said that what was unfolding was the anatomy of a cover-up. What do you mean by that?
I felt that neither the mayor or the chief were being as transparent as they could have and should have been after Amir Locke was killed. They could have let the public know that he was not named as a suspect in any of the warrants. They also could have let the public know that his gun was part of his conceal and carry, his license to carry. They could have done those things. There were other details as well that should have been brought forward in the case, such as the fact that he was wrapped in a blanket on a couch, and that essentially he was killed within 2 seconds of one of the police officers kicking the couch that he was sleeping on. So they gave him literally no chance to react. He had no chance to survive that encounter as a licensed gun owner. So I felt that their lack of transparency, and the misleading information that was put out, such as sending the media pictures of Amir Locke's gun and bullets, and essentially making him look like a violent suspect who pointed a gun at officers, were the starting points of a cover up. And I just could not accept that. I could not tolerate that. So that's why I spoke out.
Andrew, if a ban on the policy already exists, does this come down to some sort of question of police discretion, or maybe just a ratcheting up of the threshold? Because the previous ban allows no-knock raids in exigent cases, these urgent kinds of cases. The current moratorium allows them still if there is an imminent threat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so consequently, I mean, I think the professors from the University of St. Thomas really laid it out clearly that it's almost impossible to you can ban the warrant aspect, but if police feel that they are have exigent circumstances, they can still enter those homes. And the moratorium specifically has carve-outs that allow officers to still obtain a warrant, a no-knock warrant, as it were, and go through those processes. So we need to end this policy full stop. There should be no rationale for entering into a person's home without announcing yourselves. We learned today that there are some best practices that could be employed in the most exigent situations. However, in my opinion, no-knock warrants are extremely dangerous for the residents of the city of Minneapolis, who primarily these warrants are served on Black and brown folks, and the police who have to serve those warrants. I mean, we live in a culture with guns, so the fact that he had a conceal and carry license is irrelevant, because you can have a gun in your home without having a license. So, yes, he was a registered gun owner, a responsible gun owner, but you don't need that to have a weapon in your home. So,
Right.
and we live in a society where people have guns all the time.
Nekima, let's follow up on that, because what Andrea was saying, what you have just said, the family has also noted that he had no criminal record. Their family has also, their family has a background in law enforcement, and he apparently had, understood gun safety and protocols and all that. Wouldn't this be the perfect opportunity for somebody like the NRA to speak up on behalf of his Second Amendment rights to have the weapon in his own home, not flashing it in the streets? He had, as Andrew said, he didn't even have to have the permit, but he had it because it was in his home. Why is no one on that side speaking up to say, this is wrong, he can have it in his own home?
Well, I think that we know why when we look at the history of the NRA and their failure to articulate these very concerns when it comes to a Black victim in a situation like this. However, our local gun caucus here in Minnesota did issue a statement last Friday, essentially in support of Amir Locke and asking for a fair and transparent investigation and raising concerns about the potential infringement upon his Second Amendment rights to bear arms. So we have had a statement from them, and they also issued a statement in the aftermath of Philando Castile being killed in Minnesota in 2016. He was also a registered gun owner. He was riding in his car. Police pulled him over for a bogus reason. He was essentially racially profiled. And when the officer approached him, he went beyond what the law requires and let the officer know that he had a firearm, that he was licensed to carry a firearm, and the officer opened fire on Philando Castile in the presence of a woman and a child and took his life. That officer was charged but was not convicted as a result of the killing of Philando Castile. And so that gun caucus actually issued a statement in that case as well. But it is rare when you hear from those folks who focus on the Second Amendment. They typically act as if it does not apply to Black people, especially and including the NRA.
Andrea Jenkins and Nekima Levy Armstrong, thank you both for joining me tonight to talk about this tragic case. We will stay on top of this, actually.